discipline. Like, oh, if you don't got motivation, then what you need is discipline. Because then you'll force yourself to keep going, even if you don't want to keep going. Hello, I'm Mellow. Welcome to the Mellow Friends Podcast, Episode 2. Motivation is something that often comes and goes throughout life. For anyone, it's true. And this involves content creators too. Because, yes, despite what some may say, think, or do, content creators at the end of the day are human, for better or worse. I can confidently say motivation plays a big role in the journey of a content creator. Motivation is a big reason for content creation journeys to start, and it can be the reason for a lot of them to end. Sometimes content creators burn out and just lose the motivation to create, whether it be the result of life getting in the way, a lack of ideas and inspiration, or maybe even a lack of recognition for the work they've put into the things they create, or maybe a lack of recognition for the things they create themselves. Regardless of what it may be, today I will be talking about motivation in relation to my content creation journey so far. I talk about things going on in my life and why I've been able to remain motivated for the past 3 years, 3.5, despite not having achieved what some may call conventional success. I can't wait for you to hear the rest of the podcast. I really open up about some things and I would love for you to hear it. But first, a word from our sponsors. Me. Man, I love this stuff. Imagine owning the world's greatest love merch, sold by the world's greatest VTuber of our times. In a once-in-a-lifetime collection, the Mellow Club presents the ultimate love collection, shirts, hoodies, and mugs that are perfect for those who matter to you. Buy yours today at mellowclub.cool. So, how do I do it? How have you not given up, Mellow? What's the secret? What's the answer? Well, my dear viewer, short answer, straight to the point, fun. That's it. If you don't have much time to get into it, then there's your answer. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Remember, you matter, But if you want an explanation, then sit tight and let me explain, okay? So, I have streamed for the past 3.5-ish years, almost 4. Consistently, at least, at the very, very least, at least one stream a week, right? Right? At least once, usually it's more. More often than not, it's more than just once a week, I think the only time I didn't stream a week, was, because I took a week off for my dog, George. He got into surgery. I had to, monitor him and stuff, make sure he was good, and sorry, I love streaming, but I love my dog George more. Equally. But it's my dog George. Anyways. Even then, I posted a video online. So I didn't take a break from content creation. Not the point. Sorry. I just love my dog. And I love streaming. But yeah, I have been doing this consistently without a major break or hiatus for 3.5 years. And, lots of people ask me, how do you do it? Or why are you here? Which is kind of weird. How do you want me to leave? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're just asking for advice and stuff like that. When they tune into my streams, they'll just comment on it, oh, you're here consistently and stuff like that. And, I appreciate them noticing that. Thank you. But yeah, and another thing people will notice or point out or comment on is my optimism or my positivity. How do you do it? And I'm bringing this up for a good reason, okay? A good reason. But yeah, people will ask me how I seem so positive, and the answer is I'm having fun. It's the same answer to why I haven't given up. It's fun. It's fun. And when I'm live with my community and hanging out, it's usually an enjoyable experience for me, at least to say the least. I hope it's enjoyable for my community. I can't speak for them. But yeah, I just do it because I have fun. I haven't given up because I have fun. I'm consistent because I have fun. and I'm able to have fun because I'm lucky. I don't want to say that other people who don't have fun or whatever. I feel like most people have fun. Like I'm not lucky for having fun, but I'm very lucky to have a brain that is wired for optimism. I wasn't always an optimist, gonna be honest. I used to be relatively pessimistic as a person. I still can be sometimes, it's a choice to be optimistic though. At least for me at least. Like I'm able to, focus on the positive things, look at the glass half full instead of half empty. And I'm very lucky to do so. Uh but it's sort of like a muscle, like it's something I've had to practice to do. And be able to consistently do. If you don't mind, I'm gonna get a little personal now. Okay, little real. Um, Full transparency for those of you listening, those of you who may be in my community. It might not seem like it. Because I try not to like let it seem like it. But recently, life hasn't been all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. I mean, truth be told, it just really hasn't. At the time of recording, my refrigerator isn't running. And no, this is not a setup for a prank phone call or anything. Like my fridge is just not running. It's not working right now. It's a bummer. Kind of expensive to fix, so it's gonna take a while to get it fixed. I'm trying to fix it myself, but not the point, right? My fridge isn't working, which is a little bit of a bummer. I had to get rid of a lot of food one day because it just didn't work. On top of that, I recently got dumped by my girlfriend. I guess ex now. Very lovely person. Wish him nothing but the best, on their life journey and stuff. But like the timing on it was kind of a bummer too. Like it just sort of, it's never fun, right? What else? The economy. I mean, I'm not an economist, but the economy is not good right now. Have you seen the price of eggs? I don't make enough from streaming to live off of streaming alone, right? I can barely afford eggs now. So there's another bummer going on, right? Not just mine. I feel like a lot of us have that. We're all dealing with that, I guess. The platform I have my largest audience on, my largest following on, right? My biggest community on was banned in the US. So then I lost my biggest community for like 12 hours because then it sort of was like not unbanned, but they let the app continue to exist. But technically, it's still sort of banned, right? So I might lose my biggest chunk of like community, but also I might not because who knows? It's trapped in this weird limbo, and the livelihood of so many people who use this platform uh, is also just in this weird limbo of will it get banned? Will it not get banned? Will the ban get enforced? I don't know. A lot of political things going on in the world right now, right? That are pretty heavy and, kind of a bummer as well. And to, I guess add another bummer, top it all off. The city that I live in recently suffered multiple wildfires, like some of the largest wildfires we have seen in recent history, right? And we're now just barely on the other side of the fires, and now we have even more work to do as a city to try to rebuild, and that's obviously kind of a bummer, right? Right? A bummer cherry on top of the bummer sundae with a side of bummer and a bummer cola to drink, right? It's a lot of bummers that I could focus on, right? I feel like any person going through anything has the right to focus on these things and to, I don't want to say wallow in it, but, for lack of a better word, wallow in it. Uh, to sort of sit with their grief, with their thoughts, whatever, like that's something that everyone has the right to do. And I could focus on all the negative things going on. There are a lot more bummers that I could mention, but for the sake of not wasting your time just reading a list of bummers off, I'm not going to. Right? But I think anyone who has gone through this experience that we call life can agree that life isn't always the best, right? Right? There isn't always a lot of fun things going on. There isn't a lot of good uh that happens. Sometimes life isn't fun, kind of heavy, okay? You know. like it just isn't. Life is life. It's a combination of things. It's a huge thing. But thankfully, at least for me, uh I'm an optimist. Thankfully, been able to, not be able to, I've been able to become an optimist. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy, but I've been able to do it. I have thankfully got a brain that has the power or mental fortitude or mental delusion, whatever you want to call it. I have the ability to see the silver lining of things. Sure, I could focus on all of those bummers, but I have a ton of things that I'm grateful for, a ton of things that I have going for me too. I have an amazing community of amazing, uh, creative, talented, supportive people who want to see me succeed. You know how like amazing that is? Like I'm so grateful for that. I have an amazing family that is there for me. I have my dogs, George and Lenny. I love them. I love them. I have a roof over my head, a bed to rest my head in. I, despite not having a fridge, have food in my belly. I have so much that I am grateful for, right? So at least for me, it sort of cancels out, not cancels out, right? I'm aware of the bummers, but I'm also aware of all the, not bummers. What's the opposite of bummer? Anti bummers? I don't know. Right? But I have a lot of things that I'm grateful for as well. And a lot of things that, motivate me to continue going, right? Like my family, I want to continue to succeed or eventually reach conventional success, right? For my family, I want my family never to have to worry about paying bills, right? I want my dogs to be able to, have the uh, cure to aging for pets, immortality for my dogs only. Just kidding. I'm not gonna think about that. But I want my dogs to have a great life. I want my community to be proud of me. I want to be able to create content that I couldn't create previously because of other restraints like budget restraints or like not having the means to create things. I'm very much limited with what I can do now. So my motivation, at least for me, stems from wanting to achieve these things. I want to reach these goals eventually, right? It's not going to happen all at once. It's not going to happen easily. I got to put the work in. I understand that. Okay. Okay. But I personally think my optimism is a big reason why I personally haven't given up. And I don't plan to anytime soon because I want to achieve those things, right? My ability to use a combination of the fun I have doing this and the optimism I have in myself and in life and, you know, whatever it may be, allows me to create motivation. It's a huge chunk of why I've been able to stream without burning out. Um, Now, don't get me wrong, there are like bursts of motivations and then like little lulls of motivation, but regardless, I'm still going. I'm still going. I'm still, chugging. Chugga 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 choo choo. Um, Shout out to trains. I don't know why I said that, but it's a big reason why I haven't burnt out. So, in case you might not know what burnout is or getting burnt out is, it's not exclusive to content creation, right? It can happen to a lot of people in different fields, but basically, burnout is being exhausted or tired or whatever it may be in this situation, right? Say you've worked a job for like more than 3 years, right? Say you've worked the same job for like 10 years and you just feel sort of over it, like you don't have the same spark you used to have when you first started or whatever it may be, right? That's burnout. Say you're you know, a parent, right? And were so like, excited early on, into parenthood and stuff. But like now a few years into this, you don't hate the kids, but you're just sort of tired of like parenting, right? That's definitely a thing. Like burnout can be experienced by anyone in anything, you know. For content creators, it happens a lot. You see, you know, so many content creators saying they're done. Their time as a content creator is done, not because they hate it or whatever. Maybe they resent it a little, but th- they've been burnt out. They've pushed themselves, and they're just sort of out of fuel. Uh, and it happens a lot. It does happen a lot. Sometimes when I'm like online scrolling, not doom scrolling, hope core scrolling. No, I'm just kidding. But like sometimes when I'm scrolling, I'll see a lot of people create these motivational videos. As someone who's a fan of like motivating others, encouraging others, I sort of like these videos. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes some of them are like alpha sigma grind set and all that stuff, and they talk about discipline. Like, oh, if you don't got motivation, then what you need is discipline, because then you'll force yourself to keep going, even if you don't want to keep going. Um, and here's the thing: I don't think discipline is a bad thing. I think it's very good to be disciplined. Discipline is cool, but they always talk about like, you gotta like force yourself to do it, and you know, I think discipline can definitely keep you going if you don't have much, motivation. Like definitely there have been weeks where I've been like, oh man, like I feel a little tired, but I have to stream. Like I just have to, right? Like the discipline of, okay, I'm gonna go live. So regardless, thankfully I end up having fun on stream. But, there's some days where it's like, oh man, I don't want to stream today, but I said I was gonna do this thing today. So I gotta, keep my word. I gotta, practice some self discipline and do it. Right. So I definitely think discipline is good, but I don't think it's the right mindset to have of basing your motivation, your continuation on discipline alone. I guess technically it wouldn't be motivation, but like continuing on discipline alone and having that be the mindset you're in, I think could be a very slippery slope. Again, discipline is not bad. I think practicing discipline is good. You know, uh, the practice of like training yourself to like obey these like, certain behaviors or codes or rules or whatever, right? I think that mindset is, unfortunately, one of the reasons people can burn out, right? Like, again, it's good to keep going and like to practice these like good habits. But I think, like I said earlier, it's a slippery slope that can lead you to burnout, right? Now I'm not a car guy. Not really good with cars. I can change a tire and you know, change oil and stuff like that. But like, anyways, I'm not a car guy. But I'm gonna use this analogy to help explain burnout. Um, I feel like burnout is like going on a road trip or like a long drive, right? And you don't have any gas or like you're low on gas, right? So then eventually you burn through the fuel. You burn out. Right, right. And, in this analogy, motivation is your fuel, right? It keeps you going, right? So the more motivation you have, the more fuel you have to keep going, right? Literally and metaphorically. If you try to, air quotes, practice discipline and drive with little to no fuel, then you'll burn out of fuel eventually. Like you push your car, but it doesn't have any gas, and you keep trying to start it. Like that's dangerous. You might even crash out. Oh, another amazing analogy comparison thingy. Right? But you might even crash out, and no one wants to see. Well, no one should want to see that. And I don't know who may be listening right now. If you want to see people crash out, uh maybe I don't know. Don't do that. That's kind of wild. Uh, but anyways, you know, for me, having optimism and goals and fun being the source of my motivation, I think is a lot more practical, right? If I have fun doing what I love, then I never work a day in my life. I know, very cliche, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I think it's sort of true. At least for me, I've found it rings true, right? And I think it's something that might ring true for others. Now, you know, broken record right here. Might sound familiar, but I'm not a sports guy either. But I'm gonna use another analogy or another comparison, right? Right. I'm not much of a sports guy, but I think it's safe to assume that most professional athletes have fun playing the sports that they play, right? Like they gotta have a love for the game they play. Or like, what's the point? Like, sure, they can have the discipline to like train their body, right? Discipline in that manner, I think is good, right? They practice the discipline to wake up early to train their body so that they can play the sport they want to. They become lean, mean sports machines or whatever. But without that fun they have during the game, I think they would eventually burn out or maybe choose a different career path, different game. I don't know. Just an assumption, right? I'm not a sports guy, so at the end of the day, I could be wrong. But I think having fun is a key part of not giving up, right? I really, really do think it is. I am able to continue and willingly choose to return to streaming, go back to content creation, right? Making videos, staying up late to edit, right? Like, it's not fun editing and stuff like that. It's not fun staying up super late script writing or whatever. But I have fun streaming. I have fun with people reacting to my videos, right? Like seeing the final product is fun for me, right? So like that's the end goal. That's the reward, right? You know, work hard, play hard. The work hard leads to me having fun. Air quotes, playing hard. That wasn't a good analogy, comparison, use of words. But you get what I'm trying to say, hopefully. Like, I believe you need to be able to have fun, right? Doing what you're doing on some level, on some part of whatever it is you do to enjoy it, to prevent burnout, right? To find a little bit of motivation or create your own motivation, you know? Another thing to add is goals. Like I mentioned briefly, like have things you want to work towards, right? I think can also be an amazing source of motivation. Like, okay, my goal is to hit this milestone, right? I'm keeping it very vague because I don't know what your goals are, right? Everyone's got their own goals and, different forms of success, right? But like, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, I want to do this, right? That can also help you, be motivated because now you've got a destination to work towards. It's like, oh, okay, I want to get to that point. So now I'm excited, like I'm fueled up. I got the motivation, I got the energy to go, right? To go on this road trip, this long drive, whatever it may be. Again, with the car metaphor thingy. But yeah, I think having goals are very important. For me, I want to make sure my mom is retired. I want to make sure she never has to work another day in her life, right? I want to make sure my younger sister can go on whatever trip she wants to go to because she told me when we were little she wants to travel the world. I want to make that happen for her. I love my family, right? So, like, for me, family is a big motivator. Like, I want to achieve, greatness in this career path that I'm deciding to take as a content creator for my family, right? I want to achieve, success also for my community. I want to make them proud, right? These people, the Mellow Club, that's the name of my community, by the way. If you're following, then you're a part of the club. In case you didn't know, welcome to the club. Hi, we're happy to have you, right? But people who believe in me, I want to make them proud. I want them to be like, yeah, that's someone we supported and someone, we helped achieve, right? Like the thing is, as a content creator, my success is sort of like in the hands of others, which is kind of crazy, kind of crazy. Other jobs is like, oh, based off like my hard work and everything like that. And I can put in the work, but also part of it, a key part of it is you guys, right? I want to make you guys proud. That's another goal. I want you guys to be like, yeah, that's a content creator that we supported. Look at him go. Look at him go. We did that, guys. We did that. So, I want to make my family proud. I want to make you guys proud. I want to make myself proud. I want to prove it to myself that, yeah, I can do this, you know? And these goals I have are key parts of my motivation. So even if I'm, not having fun editing, right? When there are moments where I don't have fun, I can use my goals for motivation, you know? Like, okay, I'm not having fun editing tonight. This podcast is really long and the audio, so many breaths. Sorry, that was a loud intentional breath to prove a point, right? But like there, you know, are things that will keep me going even if I'm not having fun. And those things are my goals, my aspirations, the things I want to achieve. So a combination of optimism, right? Being able to have fun, right? My optimism enables me to have fun, right? And my fun motivates me to, continue to have fun because I'm having fun, right? Who doesn't want to you know, have fun. Girls just want to have fun. Not a girl, but it's a song for a reason. And then my goals and expectations, not expectations, aspirations, um, are what keep me going when I'm not having fun. Okay, okay, and I think that's a big reason of why I haven't given up. At least, me. Might not work for everyone, okay? We're all different. We're all our own people. But for me, this is what keeps me going. It's what motivates me. And I think another thing that has prevented my burnout is the way I view expectations and comparison, right? Like I mentioned earlier, or like I just mentioned, goals are very important, right? Right. Um, but I don't expect to hit my goals. I want to hit my goals. I would love to hit my goals, but I don't feel entitled to hit my goals, if that makes sense, right? I want to really bring up expectations and comparisons because I genuinely believe that these two are double-edged swords, right? They can really help or hurt you, you know. If you have expectations or like an expected outcome, it can be a source of motivation, right? It can make you excited for a project that you're working on, right? Like, oh my gosh, this thing is gonna be huge. It's gonna be a huge hit, like it's gonna do so well in the algorithm. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna get this many likes. It's gonna, XYZ, right? And that can make you excited for anything, right? I would be excited if I, was like, oh yeah, this video's gonna get a more $1 billion in the box office. I don't know, right? Um, and if you compare yourself to others, you can see their success and be like, yeah, like those guys did it. They made it. They're just like me, and they made it, right? So I can make it too, you know. And like I'll catch up. Like I'll work hard, and I'll be just like them, right? Like again, I think these are like examples of how expectations can be good, right? And can lead to you having motivation, right? You're motivated to meet those expectations. And comparisons allow you to be like, okay, like I can do it too. It's been done before. It's possible, right? But a big but, and I cannot lie, expectations and comparisons can lead you to no longer having fun, which can lead you to falling out of love with whatever it is you want to do, right? For the purpose of this conversation, and for me, I'm talking about content creation, you know. And if you fall out of love with it, then it'll definitely make it harder to keep finding motivation. I mean, another cliche here, but motivation, you know, sorry, another comparison here. Okay. Motivation is like really, really hard to find if you keep comparing yourself because comparison is the theft of joy. And that's the cliche, right? I know, I know. But I really think it's true. Comparison can be the theft of joy, especially if you compare yourself to others and put yourself down, right? I think it all depends on the lens you look at it through. If you're going to compare yourself, with the intention of trying to be inspired, then I think it's okay, right? Like if you rather than like being like, oh, that person did that thing, like darn, it's genius. Why didn't I think of it, or whatever, right? Or maybe even compare yourself to yourself a couple years ago, right? Yourself a couple years ago, and then you might be like, oh wow, that really worked out. That was really really cool. Like I did that, or oh man, like I don't know. Comparison is a little dangerous sometimes, depending on how you do it, is what I'm trying to say. In all my ramblings. Thank you for listening, by the way, to the ramblings. But yeah, if you're going to compare yourself, like I said, do it with the intention of trying to be inspired rather than being jealous of what other people do or achieve. Uh, you know, try to be inspired by others. Try not to envy others. I know it may be hard, but if you're going to compare yourself, try to be inspired, not filled with envy, okay? Just try. Just try if you can. If you can. That's, it's something I ask. It's something I ask of you. Compare yourself to yourself and see how much you've grown. I do that from time to time. I have my first VOD ever, my first stream ever. I have it saved completely. And I look back on that from time to time and I'm like, who is this guy? He's garbage. No, I'm just kidding. No disrespect to Past Me. Past Me led me to me who I am right now. Shout out to Past Me. Um right? But like, being able to compare myself to where I am now and see where I started, um, is encouraging because it's like, man, I've really grown. Like I've gotten better at this. And yeah, there's still room for growth, guys. Unfortunately, I'm not the best content creator ever. I don't think that's a thing, because everyone has different tastes, right? But I'm definitely a better content creator now than I was before, at least in my humble opinion. Without putting past me down, current me, has done a good job. And I'm proud of myself, okay? Pat myself on the back, pat myself on the back, claps, cheering, um, right? But if you compare yourself, to past you in a negative way, it can be bad too. Like, oh man, I used to get more views. Oh man, I used to XYZ, whatever it may be, right? Oh man, I used to do better. That can be discouraging, right? Right? If you compare yourself to others who are doing better, that can be discouraging. If you have high expectations, right, and you don't meet them, that could be disappointing and discouraging, right? And if something constantly disappoints you, right, if your content creation journey is constantly filled with disappointment, I have a feeling you aren't going to want to keep doing it, right? I feel like that's the likely outcome eventually. Who knows? I might be wrong, right? But I think you'll definitely have a hard time continuing to create content. Truly, I think you will. So, I think the best way to work around this is definitely got to be having realistic expectations, okay? If you're going to have expectations, and fair comparisons, okay? You got to have realistic expectations on what you want your content to do, right? For you, for others, what you want your content to achieve, right? Or I guess technically the works for anything, right? In life, like you got to have realistic expectations, right? You start a new job, you get hired, at the very start. Don't expect to become CEO in like a week. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe it happens, okay? I don't never say never, but like don't like have realistic expectations in place. You just went on a first date with someone, right? And you expect to marry them tomorrow. Maybe that's probably happened in like some Hallmark movies, but like don't have realistic expectations is all I ask. And sure, what do I know what realistic is for you? I don't, but you do based on your life and stuff. Have realistic expectations. I want to get 10 more followers this week, right? I have 0 followers. I want to get 10. I feel like that's pretty realistic. Maybe you can try that. Like that's realistic, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe that's unrealistic. Maybe 5 is more realistic. Only you know what's realistic for you and what you're able to do. And another thing that can help is having goals rather than expectations. That's right. I'm bringing goals back. I don't expect to, you know, hit a million subscribers in a year. Maybe I want to, and that's a goal. I actually I don't know if that's a goal. I haven't sat down with myself and thought about it. But for the sake of this conversation, let's say it's a goal of mine, right? I want a million subscribers. Boom, it's a goal. Do I expect it to happen? No. Is there a timeline on it happening instantly? No. But it's a goal and I can work to achieve that goal rather than me expecting it to happen. It's me wanting it to happen. And that want can lead to drive or motivation. There's the word of the day, motivation. So I believe, you know, the framing of your expectations and your Comparisons are very important. The framing is different, but I really, really do think goals can be a helpful way to maintain the motivation you might receive from expectations without the underlying entitlement of expectations, right? Like if you expect something to happen, then you're basically saying, yup, it's going to happen. And when it possibly maybe doesn't happen, it's like, dang, I thought that thing was going to happen. But on the other hand, if you have a goal, it's more like, I want this thing to happen. I'm going to work to make it happen and hopefully it happens. Sure, it might not happen. And this, can all be semantics at the end of the day, me just saying it's all about framing. But truly, the framing is something that has helped me, right? Rather than expecting to hit 1K views on a video, you can try to reach the goal of having a video that hits 1K, right? That framing allows you the grace of not hitting the goal on the first try, right? You can keep trying. And I know they're basically all the same thing at the end of the day if you really think about it, but it's a small difference that really, really helps. In my opinion, I think it really, really does help. And it's what's allowed me to continue, right? It's allowed me to be like, okay, my goal is 300 followers. I don't have a set timeline for it. I'm just going to keep working till I achieve that goal. Sweet. I've hit that goal. Now my next goal, 600 followers. Let me, work until I achieve that goal. Instead of, all right, guys, this video is going to get 1,000 likes. And then if it doesn't get 1,000 likes, I'm like, I did something wrong, right? Where sometimes you maybe didn't do anything wrong. You tried your best. If you ever try your best, you're doing the best you can. Like, there's nothing wrong you did, right? You can get better. You can definitely get better and your best can improve, right? But no matter what, if you're doing your best, you're doing your best. So if you do your best and you have expectations and those expectations aren't hit, it's like, man, I really tried my best and I failed. But you didn't fail. You really didn't, right? You can try again. You can try again. If you want, you can have the goal of like every video you upload to hit 1,000 views, right? Right? And then just keep posting, you know? You don't expect it to happen, but yeah. And, when you compare yourself to others, it's, better if it's like, oh, that person, I look up to them. I compare myself to them. My journey is similar. I want to be like them. They achieved it. I can achieve it. Versus, oh, this person who started around the same time I did, they got more famous and now I'm jealous. Right? Or whatever. Or man, I feel bad because my stuff isn't doing as good as their stuff. Whatever it may be. I believe properly framing these things are really important, right? Replace expectations with goals and give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace, okay? Cut yourself some slack. Cut yourself some slack, okay? So, you ask or you asked, you know, at the start of this, how do I do it? How do I continue to do it? How have I not given up? Well, like I said, the short answer is I have fun. I have fun doing what I do. I'm grateful that I'm able to do it. I'm grateful I found this hobby. I feel very lucky that I found something that I want to do for the rest of my life. You know, am I speaking for future Mellow? I don't know what future Mellow is gonna do, but at least for right now, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I'm very, very lucky to have found something that motivates me. And I'm very lucky to be optimistic about it, and to be able to find optimism in my life. That's something I'm also lucky for. And I'm privileged. It's a bit of a privilege. I'm not going to lie. A privilege to be optimistic. It's not as easy for other people to find, the silver lining. It's not. So I'm very lucky, and I realize that. And so I want to acknowledge that now. But yeah, I think motivation is something that's very, very important when it comes to content creation and anything in life. Motivation is important to life, right? It keeps you going. It's your reason for waking up, why you wake up. It's very important. um and I think the ways I've helped to foster my motivation and to nurture my motivation, I guess, is yeah, have fun with what I'm doing, have goals that aren't very timeline based. Sometimes there are timeline based, like, oh, I want to hit this by the end of the year, whatever. Sure, sure. Um, but also allow myself some grace. If I have an expectation or a goal and I don't hit it, that's okay. That just means I can continue trying to reach the goal. It's not over. Don't give up. And I don't give up because I have the fun doing it. I have fun streaming, content creating, And when I don't have fun, editing or script writing, or maybe even filming sometimes, then my goals help push me or continue uh pushing until I get to the parts that are fun, right? And so yeah, there was a lot of rambling, a lot of uh what's going on moments, a lot of me uh probably yapping a lot. Well, I mean, it's a podcast. That's the point. But you hopefully understand at least what works for me. And maybe it can work for you. Maybe it can work for you. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying it will work for you because I can't promise that, I don't know you all that much. Sorry, I don't. But these are sort of things that have helped me. So hopefully they can help you too. Feel free to ask any questions. Maybe I can get back to you on them. Maybe I talk about them on a future episode. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Probably, though. I probably will answer some questions in a future episode. Hint, 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 nudge, nudge. Um, but yeah. So again, just have yourself some fun. Have fun. Have fun doing what you're doing, okay? As much fun as you can. Have some goals in place that you want to achieve. Uh, if you're going to compare yourself or have these expectations, be kind to yourself. Just be kind, you know? Just be kind to yourself. Cut yourself some slack and, try your best to view things through the lens of, optimism as much as you can. As much as you can. Um and I think things are going to be okay. Okay? I think you'll find the motivation, right? If you want to be a content creator, right? The reason you start is because you wanted to do it. On some level, you want to do it. Anything, right? If you're doing what you want, then you should be okay. Unless actually, hold on, scratch that. Like, if doing what you want involves being like a crazy serial killer, maybe don't do what you want. Can I put that asterisk there? Right? You know. Wait. Before we wrap up, do what you want as long as you're not hurting anyone. There we go. There we go. Asterisk. Right? But at the end of the day, do what you want. Right? Try your best. Keep going. For as long as you can. And yeah, hopefully you got some tips on how to stay motivated, how I stay motivated. Maybe this was a really bad episode and now you're even less motivated. And if that's the case, I'm sorry. Let me know. Let me know. Like the podcast if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. Hopefully you didn't dislike it, but I'm not you. I can't tell you how to feel about a podcast. And thank you for watching. Before I go, remember that you matter. And in case no one's told you that today, I just did. So don't forget it, okay? Because it's true. All right? All right. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.